Hi artists! Over the next several weeks, we're going to be looking at the elements of art.
The elements of art are the building blocks used by artists to create a work of art. There are 7 elements of art. Line, color, shape, form, value, space, and texture.
Today we're going to be looking at the element of line.
Line is just a dot that goes for a walk. Line is a mark made by a drawing tool or a brush. There are many types of lines: thick, thin, horizontal, vertical, zigzag, diagonal, curly, curved, spiral, and many, many more. Lines are often very expressive. They are the basic tools for artists, though some artists show their lines more than others. Lines can be used to define shapes and figures, but also to indicate motion, emotion, and other elements. The outlines of an object that show the general shape and not too many details is called the contour line. Line is perhaps the most basic element of art.
Lines are all around us. That's why it's the first element that I like to talk about. We use it in our daily lives, from our handwriting to when we draw, to even if you look at the side of your cabinets, you'll see a straight line, or you might see some curvy lines somewhere else in your house or around you. I have some lines on my shirt right now. So lines are everywhere. So that's why it's so important that we discuss it and we talk about it. So today we're going to be making a line landscape. A landscape is a picture of the land or the surroundings. So we are going to make our own line landscape. We're going to be using as many lines as we can. Before we do that, I figured I had one little worksheet that I was going to show you guys. So we're going to do that now. On the Bitmoji Classroom, I created this worksheet for you guys to work on different types of line. If you cannot print it, that's totally okay. Instead, you can just create some lines on a separate piece of paper, but I wanted to show you a bunch of different lines that you can create. So we're gonna practice drawing some lines. We're gonna make some diagonal lines. Diagonal lines look like this. And now you can make them any width you want. I'm just using my pencil. Vertical lines. Vertical goes up and down. Vertical. Horizontal lines. Right to left, or left to right, whichever way you want to do it. Thick lines. So we're going to make some thick lines. You could either do it that way. You can use the side of your pencil or the side of your crayon, whichever one you want to use. Do it like that. It's really up to you how you do your thick lines. Maybe you're using crayons. You don't have to use a pencil. Thin lines, you would use the tip to do your thin lines. And thin lines you might almost not be able to see because they're so thin. Wavy lines. Okay. Zigzag. And free choice. My favorite line to do is a curly line, so I think I'm gonna do some curly lines, but you can do however you want. You could even do a combination of lines. Okay, that's free choice. I also put this landscape paper. This is either below or on a separate piece of paper. You're gonna create your landscape. A landscape, again, is a picture of the land. If you don't have access to a printer, no worries. You don't need to do that, because I'm not even going to use that for my landscape. I'm actually going to use a separate piece of paper. When deciding to do a line landscape, I really came across the work by Robin Mead. Robin Mead is a contemporary artist, and she does a lot of landscapes, and her landscapes involve a lot of line. When you look at them, they have so much line in them, and they're so incredible. So I was really inspired by her to create my line landscape and to come up with this cool, awesome project. You do not have to do yours like this. Again, we're just doing a landscape with lots of line. So you can maybe do a seascape, or you can do a picture of a forest, whatever you want to do your landscape, okay? So I'm just going to show you mine, and I'm actually going to do it speeded up when I start going into it. But I want you to remember to do as many different types of lines as you can. So I'm going to start with some hills, because I want to do some rolling hills in the background. But again, your landscape will look different than mine, because I'm a different artist than you. I don't want everyone's to look the same, because that would be super boring, and we're not boring. At least I'm not boring, and I hope you're not boring, and I don't think you are. Okay, so I'm gonna make some waves in the front. So I did some curly lines, I did some wavy lines, okay, and then I'm gonna do some curly cues. This is gonna be my get rid of that line. You might want to add some waves, because I'm gonna add some water. So I have some hills, I have some water. Make another little wave right here, some curly cue waves. I'm gonna do a straight line over here, because this is where the water starts. That's like my shoreline. I'm gonna do some wavy lines here, because this is some water. Robin Mead does a lot of flowers in the foreground, so I want to actually add a couple flowers, because that adds these awesome little scalloped lines and a really nice curved line. So I'm just gonna add a couple little flowers in the front to give it some more color. And then I wanna, in the back, I'm gonna make a nice big round line, curved line for the sun. And coming from the sun, I'm gonna do some rays, because my sun is setting in the sky, and I wanna add those sun rays for some straight diagonal lines. Okay, after I have my landscape all drawn out with all the different types of lines, I'm going to use a Sharpie or a black crayon, black marker, whatever you have at home, and I'm going to trace all of my lines. And when I trace my lines, I'm gonna make some of them thicker, some of them thinner. I wanna vary the width of the line. So I'm gonna do this nice and speed it up for you. Are traced, I'm going to go back, and you can add in some different types of patterns of lines in different areas. So like I might want to add some lines here. I might want to add lines here. This marker doesn't look so good. That's okay. I want to add some dotted lines. Really up to you, but I'm going to fill this up with a bunch of different lines. filled up much of my landscape with lines, I can then paint it, or I can color it, or I can do whatever I want to add some color to it. I also, if it looks really good with just black and white, I could do that as well. But this one has some thick lines, some thin lines. It has some varied line in here. There's tons of line, because the word of the day is line. Make sure you have lots of it. Hope you had a great time exploring line with me this week. I had so much fun creating my line landscape. I cannot wait to see yours. Please make sure that you post it on Artsonia, on Google Classroom. Email me a picture. I love seeing your art. It's my favorite part of my day. So please make sure that you're sharing it with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep looking around you. Line is everywhere. Line is all around you and me. So make sure that you're pointing it out and looking for it. Have a wonderful day. Keep creating. Bye, my friends.